Welcome to the glory of Yahusha. Um, Thank you for coming here to check out the content. I know you're probably wondering why is my face covered. Because who I am is not important. This is not about me. This is about our Heavenly Father. And this is about his interactions with myself during the past 23 years. Um, it's been a journey. Needless to say, this didn't start off with me as a believer. I basically have been in the streets my entire life. Um, I had went down south the summer of 2000, and I walked out of a relative's door, and out of nowhere, I started looking up. Said my best friend who was standing there said that I started just looking up at the sky. I had no recollection of any of this. All I know is that it's like a movie started playing inside of my mind. I saw a tree, which I did recognize, an old tree. I saw myself standing beneath this tree, which was odd. Um, and the clothes I had on, I had never seen before. I knew that this was a futuristic event. Um, I don't know how, but by watching myself stand underneath that tree, the longer I looked at myself, I started getting all of this insight. A lot was going to happen. A lot of things was getting ready to change in my life. My worst nightmares, I was getting ready to live. And needless to say, I did not want that to happen. Um, I saw that I was going to lose my family, that I was going to lose my occupation. Um, I was going to be dead broke. I mean, absolutely broke. Everybody in the world was going to turn on me, and I was going to end up standing underneath that tree, homeless, with nowhere to go, without a penny in my pocket, with no one to turn to. And I definitely did not want to see that happen. At first, I thought, what kind of, nightmare is this? I'm awake, I'm not asleep. This is broad daylight. Um, I couldn't even imagine what type of power, what type of being could possibly do this. Take over my mind and make me watch, you know, futuristic events that I never would have wanted to watch myself. And I remember I watched this until I saw that my daughter was going to be taken away from me. And that's when, well, my daughter and my daughter's mother. And that's when I turned my head and I said like this, like, no, no, no. And I turned away. And it stopped. And the next thing I know, my best friend was standing in front of me and he was like, hey, you all right? Hey, man, you all right? And I was so shocked by what happened, I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know what to say to him because I couldn't wrap my mind around what had just happened. And I remember telling him, hey, I'm sorry, but I got to talk to you later. Like, I just can't right now. Like, I got to talk to you later. I'm sorry. Like, and, I had, come a long ways. And so, I mean, yeah, we were both disappointed, but, he understood and he left and I went back in the house. And I remember when I got back in the house, a fear came over me. I just knew that somehow something was something was telling me that something was going to happen, and I believed it. Whatever it was, I believed it. And I remember after that, I kept going around and asking, every preacher, pastor, spiritual person that I could bump into, hey, what do you think this means? Hey, have you ever heard of this before? And it wasn't until maybe almost a year later, I remember bumping into a pastor, and I asked him, I explained to him what had happened, and I asked him, what do you think this means? And he said, I can't tell you what it means, but it sounds like some kind of warning. He said, you need to be careful. He said, one thing I could tell you is this, is that it's definitely the Heavenly Father. It's got to be God. And I said, what makes you think that? He said, because only God can tell you the future. He said, the devil doesn't even know the future. And so at that point, I knew that, okay, whatever was going on was the Heavenly Father, but still the question was in my mind, what does he want with me? Like, what have I done? And I remember vowing deep down into myself that I was going to do my best to hold on to my life the way it was. I did not want to see the things that I was shown happen. I was afraid. I did not know what lied on the other side of experiencing all of those things. And so, I vowed that I was going to do my best to keep my life exactly the way it was. And I started running. I mean, I switched up my life for the most part. I tried to stay out of the streets. I actually had got a job, which was something that, I definitely was not into. But, I went and got a job. I went and got an occupation. And, I tried to be subtle for the most part. I tried to insulate myself from everything I was shown. I actually had went and purchased a new house for my family, and I got all this insurance, and I just knew that, these things, couldn't possibly happen to me, because I was going to make sure that they didn't happen. Well, lo and behold, almost a year later, I'm on the highway. I went to a rest area, and a girl walks up to me, a young girl, and I noticed her staring at me, a young white girl. And, I actually thought nothing about it until she was standing at the table next to me, acting like she was wiping the table, but she was clearly watching me. And I remember I glanced up at her and I said, what's up? You all right? And she said, oh yeah, I'm fine. And I said, okay. And then she said, at least I was until you walked in here. And that made me stop everything I was doing and focus on her. So I, stopped eating and I looked up at her and I said, okay, why do you say that? Is that that's a good thing or a bad thing? And she said, I don't know. She said, I've got something to tell you and you're not going to believe me. And I said, okay, try me. I've heard it all. And she said, not this, you haven't. And, I looked at her, and this is a young girl. She's shifting foot to foot. She's nervous. And so I tried to calm her down. I said, okay. I said, hey, calm down. It's all right. And I said, I said, what did you have to tell me? And she said, I've got a message for you, and you're not going to believe this. I said, a message for me? She said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, so what's the message? She said, you're not going to believe this message is from God. And I said, God. And she said, I swear I'm not lying. And she started telling me the minute that I walked in the door, he took over her mind. And I was all too familiar with that, because of the vision that I had had. And so I told her, hey, I believe you, what's the message? And she said, he wants me to tell you that your health is the most important thing in the world. I said, my health? She said, yeah, your health. And I said, that doesn't make sense. I said, are you sure that the message is for me? And she said, oh yeah, it's you, because he didn't start talking to me until you walked in the door. And he pointed you out. I looked right at you, and you were who he was talking about. And I said, wow. And I said, okay, all right, look. I said, thank you. And, she went into saying that, she felt like this was some kind of a warning, and for me to be careful because she thought something was going to happen. And I remember her clearly saying, please be careful. And I said, hey, okay, all right, no problem, thank you. And when she went to walk away, something possessed her body because it literally yanked her. Like, I saw her stop in her tracks, and she turned around, and it's like she was looking over my head. And the same little timid girl that was just nervous just not even 10 seconds ago, now whoever this is talking through her, now they're speaking with authority. And this is what the voice said. It said, whatever you do, take this serious. I assure you, this is very real. This is not a game. This is not a joke. This is very real. And I went to say thank you, and nothing would come out. But when the girl turned around, there was goosebumps like all over my body. And that's when I realized, like, oh my goodness, like, this is not this girl standing in front of me. And I got up and I ran out of, the restaurant, and I got to my truck. And the minute I got to my truck, something knocked me out. And I woke up in that rest area. The next morning, there was snow on the ground, and nobody was there but me. And I was in my truck. The doors were locked. My truck was running. And I was just saying, oh my God, what just happened? And so that's when I knew, everything is different now. Everything has changed. So that's the first part. To let you know how this all started, this journey. I will keep making videos to fill you in every step of the way. I hope you guys are paying attention to the times, the seasons. I hope your faces are turned to the Heavenly Father. And I hope that obedience is the number one thing on the menu for you, on your agenda. This is serious. This is serious business. Our Father is serious, and he doesn't play. And what he says, he means. And he is watching. And, by the time I get done with these videos, you guys are gonna probably know him different than what you read in the book, because the book, that's telling you about events that's happened with individuals that he, came in contact with and worked through, and it is giving you a clear picture of a lot of things, examples of a lot of things, but to have these experiences yourself is something entirely different. Um, but look, I hope you guys keep your face to the Most High and keep your prayer life up, man. All right, I love you guys, and I will get back to you. Okay, shalom.